All right, good evening, everybody. This is lesson 5.4, and we're going to be talking about dividing mixed numbers. Okay, so just to back it up a little bit, so we first multiplied fractions, then we multiplied mixed numbers. Okay, last night we learned to divide fractions, and so now, actually tonight, we're not really going to do anything new. Dividing mixed numbers is going to employ the same tricks that we just used for dividing fractions, and then also we're going to go back to what we learned about multiplying mixed numbers. We're going to use the same stuff. There won't be any foiling this time, though, so there will only be the two main things, two of the three things that we did when we were multiplying mixed numbers. We're still going to do estimates, and we're going to just change things into improper fractions this time. So let's get started. Again, let's start with estimates. Okay, and so suppose we had a problem. There was one in your book that I kind of liked, where we had something that was 59.5 inches wide, and we wanted to divide it up into strips of wood that were 4 3/8 inches wide. Suppose we're maybe paneling a cabinet or a piece of wall. Okay, so if we're dividing 59.5 by 4 3/8, first, that's going to be a fairly involved problem, so we're going to start by just investing a little bit of time into doing an estimate. Now, when we're estimating, since this is a division problem, we are going to be using compatible numbers. Now, in this case, the estimate would have worked out compatible anyway. So 59.5 would have rounded to 60. 4 3/8 is a little bit less than 3/8 is less than half, so that's going to round down to 4. And sure enough, 60 divided by 4 is going to did it again. 60 divided by 4, there's our estimate. Let's go ahead and erase that. Because 60 divided by 4 is not approximately equal to, it's exactly equal to 15. The estimate part is when we rounded to 60 and 4. Okay, so real quickly, we're going to need about 15 boards. Now, if I'm actually doing real woodwork, I might make sure I had enough for 16 boards, just in case I make a mistake, or in case I end up being a little bit more than 15. But 15 is going to be our estimate. Okay. All right, that's it. So again, always start with estimates. So moving forward, let's do a couple of practice problems. Okay. So I'm going to give you 3 problems, and again, I want you to use estimates. And it is okay to not necessarily round to the nearest whole number, as long as you round to a compatible number. Okay. Most of these I think are going to work out pretty well. So go ahead, please, and pause the video, and I'm going to put a little pause button in from now on. So pause the video and do these 3 problems, and then when you're done, come back. Okay, so these are pretty straightforward. In this first one, 7 2/5 is closer to 7, and 1 3/7 is closer to 1. Those are compatible numbers, so 7 divided by 1. This is the rounding, is going to give us exactly 7, so that's our estimate for that one. The next one, 14 9/16 and 3 8/19. So let's start with the number we're dividing by. 3 8/19 rounds to 3. 14, even if this had been 14 7/16, I want to pick a compatible number, so I'm going to round it up to 15, so 15 divided by 3. But in this case, 9/16 is already more than a half, so 15 divided by 3 is going to give me 5. And the last one, 100 divided by 9 1/3, well, 100 is already a nice, easy number. 9 1/3 would actually round down to 9, but 100 divided by 9 is not going to be compatible. So let's cheat a little bit, use compatible numbers here, and let's do 10 divided by 10 and get an estimate of 10. Okay? Always do an estimate first. And so on the next couple of practice problems, when we're actually doing quotients, when you're actually dividing the mixed numbers precisely, I still want to see your estimates, even on the ones that you're practicing right now. All right, let's move ahead. And like I said before, we're only going to do one method. So it's not like the multiplying mixed numbers where we had more than one thing to do. So what we're going to do is we are going to always change our mixed numbers and our whole numbers into fractions. Whole numbers just put over 1, and then we're going to flip and multiply, just like we did when we were dividing fractions. So let's take the example 2 1/4 divided by 3. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to change both of these numbers into fractions. So 2 1/4, let's do the little check mark on it. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9, so this becomes 9 over 4, and we're dividing by 3 over 1. Okay, that's the first step. All right, now the second step, before I can do anything else, I'm going to have to change this into a multiplication problem. So the second fraction is going to flip upside down, and the division sign is going to change to multiplication. So the front fraction never changes, 9/4. We're going to change this to an asterisk for times, and we're going to flip the 3 over 1 to 1 over 3. Now once I have a multiplication problem, I can do my canceling just like usual. So the 9 and the 3 are both divisible by 3. So I can go ahead and cancel out of 3, take it out. So 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. And now I'm left with 3 on the top and 4 on the bottom. And you might think, okay, that's great, I can do that. But we forgot to do something here. Okay, what did we forget? That's right, we didn't do an estimate. So let's follow my own advice. Let's do an estimate on this first. 2 1/4 divided by 3. Well, that would round to 2 divided by 3. Okay, and that's not really compatible numbers necessarily, but 2 divided by 3 is going to be a nice easy fraction. It's just 2/3. And let's look at our final answer. Is 2/3 pretty close to 3/4? Yeah, think about a number line. Okay, if I have a number line and here's 0, and here's 1, and here's a half. Okay, 2/3 is a little bit bigger than a half, and 3/4 is a little bit bigger than that. So they're very close together. So that is a good estimate, and so that means that we probably have done our division correctly, and we have in this case. All right, let's go ahead and let's practice this skill. So I want you to divide 3 3/4 by 3. Okay, and we're just going to do this single problem first. So go ahead and pause the video and show all your work on this, including the estimate. Pause now. All right, let's do the estimate first. Okay, so we'll put the little wavy equals in. 3 3/4 divided by 3. Okay, if I can do this one of two ways. 3 3/4 actually rounds to 4, and 4 divided by 3 is going to give me 1 1/3. Okay, that isn't using compatible numbers, so if I want to cheat a little bit and use compatible numbers, I could have also done just 3 divided by 3 equals 1. Either of these estimates, they're both pretty close together, gives us a pretty good idea of what we're shooting for. All right, now let's actually do the problem. Okay, 3 3/4, we're going to change into, do the check mark on it. So 3 times 4 is 12, plus 3 gives me 15 over 4, and I'm going to divide that by 3 over 1. Rewrite the problem as multiplication. I get 15 over 4 times, flip that second fraction, always the one after the division sign, flip it upside down, I get 1/3. Look for anything that cancels, and I can cancel the 3's out, and I get 1, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. And now go ahead and multiply across the top, so I get 5. Multiply across the bottom, so I get 4. I get 5/4, which reduces down to 1 1/4. Okay, and so again, looking back at my estimates, actually 1 1/4 is right between 1 1/3. So by doing two estimates, I actually got a really good job because my actual answer is right sandwiched between them. So that gives me a lot of confidence. Okay. All right, so that is what we're going to do for dividing mixed numbers. All right, let's go ahead. Let's do some more practice. Okay, I want you to do these 3 problems on your own, remembering to go ahead and do the estimates first. You can do the estimates right underneath the original problem, and then do the quotients to the right, and make sure you compare your answers. So go ahead and pause the video one more time, and do these 3 problems, please. All right, welcome back, guys. All right, so first we're going to do an estimate here, so we'll put the little wavy equals in to say that we're estimating. 7 divided by 1 is what I'm going to round these numbers to, and that, of course, is 7. Put parentheses around it so we can go back and check. 6 5/6 divided by 3 1/3. All right, now this one, again, if I actually go ahead and just round it to the nearest whole number, I'm going to get 7 divided by 3, which is 7/3, or 2 1/3. If I use compatible numbers, I could do 6 divided by 3, which is equal to 2. Okay, and again, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that my actual answer is probably going to be between these guys. Okay, so anyway, either of those estimates is fine. And for the bottom one, 8 3/4 should have rounded to 9, and 2 1/2 rounds to 3, and those are already divisible by each other, so there's no reason to mess around. We'll just get an estimate of 3. All right, now let's go ahead and do the actual problems. The first one, we're going to change into 7 over 1 divided by 1 1/6 becomes 7/6. So I change both numbers into a fraction. Next, I rewrite where the first fraction stays the same, the division sign changes into a multiplication, and we flip the 6 or the 7/6 into 6/7. Okay, so again, everything we're doing here is not only teaching us how to multiply mixed numbers, but it's giving us great practice with the last lesson of dividing fractions. And I meant to say dividing mixed numbers. All right, let's go ahead and cancel the 7's. They're both divisible by 7, so they both become 1, and I get 6 over 1, or just 6. Okay, very close to my estimate, so I'm going to say that that looks right. The next one, 6 and 5, 6. Okay, we got a little bit of work here. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 5 is 41. If you want to show your work on that, you're welcome to. Okay, and we're going to divide that by 10 over 3. Notice I'm not trying to do too much at once. Let's change both numbers into improper fractions first. Then let's rewrite it where we flip the second fraction and change it into multiplication. Now, these numbers are a little bit bigger, so we definitely want to make sure we find any canceling that we can. There's not a lot, but we can cancel the 3 and the 6. Take a 3 out, you get 1 and 2. So now on the top, I'm just going to get 41 times 1 over 2 times 10 is 20. And that's going to reduce down to 20 goes into 41 twice with a remainder of 1, so it's 2 and 1/20. All right, and again, look at my two estimates, and sure enough, 2 and 1/20 is sandwiched right between them, just like we thought it probably would be. Okay, so good estimates and a good answer. All right, the last one, let's change 8 and 3/4 into an improper fraction. So 8 times 4 plus 3 is 35 over 4. Notice the bottom never changes when I do that. And 2 and 1/2 is going to become 2 times 2 plus 1, which is 5. Okay, so I get 35/4 divided by 5/2. That's going to become 35/4 times 2 over 5. Okay, and now I'm going to get a little bit more canceling. That's a little hard to read, that blue, so I'm going to change to a dark green. The 2 and the 4 both cancel. Take a 2 out, you get 1 and 2. And 35 and 5 are both divisible by 5, so take 5 out. 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 35 divided by 5 is 7. And now I've reduced this to just 7 over 2, which is 2.5. And sure enough, 2.5, very close to my estimate of 3. In fact, it would even round up to 3. And so there we go. So 3 estimates and 3 quotients. And so if you got those 3 right, you are well on your way to having this skill down. Well, that's it for tonight. Thanks for watching. Sorry I missed you in class today, but tomorrow we will be practicing dividing mixed numbers. And really, like we just talked about in the video, we'll really get to practice everything that we've done so far this unit. Because so far this unit, we've multiplied fractions, we've multiplied mixed numbers, we've divided fractions. The skills from those 3 lessons are exactly the skills that we're putting together to divide mixed numbers. We're doing the canceling, we're changing mixed numbers into improper fractions, and we're practicing changing division questions into multiplication questions. So literally, if you had to break these problems down into 3 steps, okay, the first step is really to change things into improper fractions, just like it was in 5-2. The second step is still to flip the second fraction and change the problem into a multiplication step, which is exactly what we did yesterday in 5-3. And then the last step, before we do the multiplication, we look for any canceling, and then we multiply fractions, just like we did in 5-1. Okay? So really, 5-4 is just a nice putting it together lesson. So we'll really be practicing these problems tomorrow in class, and in essence, we'll be practicing the whole first 4 units of this chapter. All right, I will see you tomorrow, and I'm feeling better, so I should be back in class tomorrow. So I'll see you all then. Okay? Bye. Thanks for watching.